Longest in the land. Someone who always can. Don't you know? Burrito.
You believe it? It's Labor Day, and we're still grinding. Welcome to What's Up Flobo After Hours. It's your boy Flo Pizza. I'm sitting here chilling, watching my Islanders got totally roasted by the Tampa Bay Lightning, but that's okay. Here in the treehouse, I have a very special VIP. This person has meant so much to me on the comedy track, on the friendship track, and being a girl, general badass track. Give it up for the Roller 87, Amber Scalzo. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you, dude? How's everything? Things going good?
It's cool. It's cool. You know, like it's 2020. You know, I started off kind of rough and sad, and it's like, what am I going to do with my life? Because they told me my entire pursuit in my life is non-essential. But it worked out, and I got to do crazy shows and meet and talk to people. So you are
same for me.
so yeah. Can you just like what part of your lives were like affected most by like the shutdown? Just to give people a background.
Well, for most people, I don't know if everybody knows, but California just let people who are in the hair industry allowed to work again, indoor operations. So beginning of the pandemic, we ended up having to cease all operations for about, I want to say 2.5, almost 3 months.
Yeah.
And then we were open again in June. And then after a couple of weeks, we had to cease indoor operations to, stop the spread, or you could work outside, but you would have to pay for a permit to work outdoors, especially during a heat wave. So now we are off, the Orange County is off the watch list. So we are back in business. So I'm like, woohoo.
That sounds scary. You're off the
so,
watch list in Orange County.
I mean, Orange County's crazy. It's called the Orange Curtain for a reason. But
Yes. I did a wedding in Orange County last week, and no one wore their masks. And it was kind of like, how dare you wear your mask in my presence? And I was like, but, they told me.
Oh, they get so upset with, like, the mask thing. And it's like, I am totally on board with wearing the mask until, like, everything is, like, settled down or there's a vaccine or something like that. And most of my clients are always asking me, like, can I take this off? And I'm like, I have an autoimmune disease. No, you can't. Like,
right. Yeah. And they're like, what's your problem?
And then they're like, oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. I'll keep it on. I'm like, why do I have to say I have an autoimmune disease? Like, just follow the rules, dude. Like,
yeah.
But anyway,
it's that tribe of one. It's like, it doesn't apply to me. Maybe this will apply to you and your lame-o stuff. I want to say before we get into everything today, I just want to say that like we got into the comedy game pretty similarly around the same time.
Yes.
I think you started before me. Oh no, you did definitely start before me. I'm on year 6.
I started maybe 2 or 3 months before you.
Well, I still consider you an elder states person. It's cool. I look up to you so much, Amber, because you've done this thing where you don't try to fit in what's popular. You just go what's funny, and I'm always like inspired by that.
Well, thank you. I mean, I love what you do on stage too, because I got to learn more about your history, on stage, like with your family from being from New York and like being Caribbean and like the Caribbean, like family culture. Like, wow, like I didn't, I would have never known anything about it unless being friends with you, so it was really cool to see that, so I mean, yeah, like I feel like comedy definitely has brought both of us together. So,
yeah. No, it's true. It's absolutely true. And if you guys have not seen Amber Scalzo, check it out. Google her. I mean, dude, this stuff is funny. I won't spoil anything, but I'm still looking for Tammy Pons. I just question.
Oh my God.
Question. Yes.
Oh,
Haywood
man.
Wong says my stuff is on Spotify. I will plug it later. I swear to you. How are you holding up now with this heat wave, man? It's like 1,400 degrees in California. I mean, it was like an 80% humidity in most parts, and it was just
I'm not
disgusting.
gonna lie. Today it like totally got the best of me. Like I was trying to do some chores around the house, and like I think I had like a bit of heat exhaustion, so I ended up having like a huge migraine before doing your podcast. So And now I've drank a lot of water, but man, I have to hydrate. And I don't know if this is for you, but like I feel like when I drink water, I feel so bloated, especially when it's hot outside.
No, absolutely. It's funny because like migraines came pretty late in my life. I would say I got my first one at 33, and I get them when I don't hydrate, if I don't sleep a lot, and plus I don't have air conditioning, so I don't sleep at all these nights. It's pretty bad. But
Oh God.
I don't know how it is with you because most of my migraines are ocular. So like it's like my left
Yes.
eye starts to be like, it's like that
Yeah.
feeling of like I got 30 minutes to head this off at the pass, whether it's with like medication or water or sleep, or else I'm gonna be feeling the worst of it. How's it with you?
For me, it's like if I don't get like you said, if you don't get medication within like 30 minutes, then it's like the worst thing, and it's like day. It takes like about a day for me to get over it, but thank God I got it like quick. But I have to like cover my head, be in complete darkness, like
Yeah.
take a quick nap or something, and like it'll help me a lot. Like it, but yeah, I've been pounding water before before your podcast because I didn't want to like be on the low, low vibrational energy mode. I wanted to be like good vibration for you, you know.
Amber, we're family. It doesn't matter, man. You can do whatever you want here. We're cool with it. You know?
I know. I know. I just want to be the best for you, you know.
I appreciate that. I really do. We have not hung out as much as we
Yeah.
can with the whole pandemic thing. We saw each other on 4th of July. We really haven't like been able to like
Yes.
connect and vibe and build on things and all that stuff. And what's the one thing you think that's changed the most for you, like day to day on the social side, on the personal side with the lockdown, the quarantine, and all that?
Oh my God. So the lockdown for me, like the first couple of months, I was really legitimately scared. Like I was, when they shut down Disney, I was like, oh my
They
God,
shut
this
down
is for real.
Disney.
They don't ever shut down Disney.
That's
This
true.
shit is real.
Yeah.
And like before we went into lockdown, I remember when they shut down Disney, and like I swear to you, I went to 3 different grocery stores just to stock up because that's how like paranoid I am. Like
I did it all,
I'm
yeah.
glad I did. I'm glad I did because I didn't, it was pretty scarce when it came to like the meat and like toilet paper, water, that kind of thing. So like thank God I stocked up enough to like kind of last when everything sort of started to get a little bit back to normalcy, and then
Yeah.
but like it really made me like bring out that hustler side of me that like, I'm like I don't know what to do. I cut hair. I've been a barber for 12 years. Now I can't cut hair whatsoever, and that's like my purpose. That's my life's purpose. I like making people feel good about themselves by cutting, making them look good.
Yeah.
And then take that away, I didn't know what to do, so I ended up getting creative, and I started like doing tarot readings from via Instagram. Yeah,
What?
I know.
Can
Yes,
I
I
get
know.
one?
Yeah, we could do it, definitely.
When can we do this?
We could do this like after the podcast if you want.
Oh,
Like I
hell
could
yeah. Dude, I want
Yes.
a tarot reading because I saw one of those
Yeah.
online ones. I'm like, I don't know if these are actually the same thing without the person, you know?
Yeah.
Here's why I fell into it. Because, okay, so in Los Angeles, there's a beer company called Angel City Brewery. And
Yes.
they own a brewery in Brooklyn called
Oh.
Coney Island Brewery. And I love their art. This is a long story. I love their artwork for their beer. And the tattoo artist who draws the artwork for the beer of Coney Island runs a place called the Eight of Swords Tattoo Shop. I'm like, what
That's
the hell
a
does that
badass
mean?
name.
Yeah,
That's a
so I had to
badass
look it
name.
up. So I'm like, I want a tower reading. We should probably do this now. But definitely after the show or tomorrow, we're definitely gonna do one because I want to know like,
Definitely.
what the future holds and all that.
And don't tell me anything. I will, because the least I know, the most better of a reading I'm going to give you. Because like the least I know what's going on in your life, the better I can just tap in and like figure out what we got to do. But yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I ended up doing tarot readings for like a little bit, like donation based, like $20 or something like that, just to kind of like, make some extra income. And then I started sewing masks and selling them on Instagram.
I saw
Like,
that.
like again, the inner hustler came out. I was like, well, I know how to sew. I have all this extra fabric. I might as well like make the best of this. And like, I honestly thought I was going to be a seamstress once like lockdown was done. I'm like, this is my new career. I'm gonna be a seamstress. I'm gonna make clothes, and I even like got like, oh, I wish I could find my notepad. I actually made a pattern, like drew out the pattern and the measurements to make like this like halter top. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm not a seamstress. I've taken basic sewing 101 in high school, and that's pretty much it. But
That's all you
you know,
know. Shout out to Chrissy Hedden who's in the chat live. She said Disneyland is what got me too. We realized it was real. For me, I was in Florida that week when sports stopped. I think when sports stopped, people started taking it seriously. And I was at a comedy gig. My alma mater had asked me to do a comedy show, which sounds really badass, but it's whatever. But like the school had closed down, and they had to make a decision. Hey, look, everything's closed. This is kind of off-site. We'll let you do your thing, but you're the last thing ever. That was back in March, and I had a gig in Japan in April. Like I really thought that my year was
wow.
on one track, and it just turned left. And so people always ask, at least for me, they say, "How's 2020 treating you?" On one hand, yeah, I'm home trying to figure out what it is, trying to make ends meet, doing podcasts and everything. But on the other, like my comedy song, Alone the Club, wouldn't have happened without it. Like meeting people, this show wouldn't have happened without it. So like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be like, yeah, 2020 was awesome, because it wasn't. But like it helped out a bit, like it totally like focused on what I want to do, especially post breakup for me.
Yeah, no, totally. And I went through a breakup during the lockdown too, and I'm still kind of getting through it and getting, trying to move forward from it. And man, relationships are hard. So, I mean, like again with what you said, like I don't want to sound like everything seemed to be aces up for me during lockdown, but there was a
Right.
lot of blessings that happened. Like
Yeah.
I didn't know I could be resourceful. I didn't know I could like do another like skill set to make an income. I didn't know I could like do tarot readings and people actually got something out of it. Like, and then I started focusing on my health, and I've been doing like online and well, when things were open back up again, I was doing personal training with a trainer, and
Yeah.
and I was doing weightlifting, and I didn't realize like, oh my god, like this is something I absolutely love to do now is
Wait,
weightlift.
Amber Scalzo, the bodybuilder?
Yes.
Go on.
So I've been training with this lady, and now she does it at her home, and it's just me and one other person, and we have the garage door open. She's got her little like personal studio going on, and it's been like such a like positive thing in my life to like actually feel the weight over my head with the barbell, or like just getting through a hard workout. Like I didn't know I
Yeah.
could persevere or endure like that much. Like, I don't want to say she tortures me, but like she definitely gets me through the hardest times of the workout. And
Oh.
I've lost 5 inches all over so far. So things
All over.
all over.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm doing it. Like, especially when you go through a breakup, like, I'm doing my work. I'm like really focused on my mental and spiritual and physical health. So, I've been talking to my therapist, and I think that's been such a breath of fresh air to speak to somebody who understands like anxiety or depression, especially during a pandemic. Everyone's going through it. It's not
True.
just myself and just a couple people. It's like everyone, everybody's had their own setbacks, or, their own like trials, and like trying to get through things, and like talking to a therapist has really been beneficial
Yeah.
through the process. Cause like, I don't know about you, but my anxiety was pretty like normal. Like I would get anxious about certain things. And then when lockdown hit, and then you were alone in your apartment for a few, weeks to a couple months, like,
Yeah.
and you go outside and you start seeing people and the anxiety levels are skyrocketing. Like I still kind of get a little antsy when like I see like more than a couple people without a mask on walking by, because I'm in Orange County.
Yeah. No one
Everybody
is
out
in North. Everyone's in
everybody out
quarantine.
here does not give a fuck. So it's
No,
like,
no. It's weird because like my anxiety is a little different. Like I love being home alone. I get a lot
Yeah.
of crack for that because, like, how can you like being alone? I was like, yeah, I'm a man. I have needs. There are some times where I wish there was a companion here, but I'm not like, oh, I'm all alone. But like, because I haven't performed regularly, when someone calls me and they go, "Hey, can you voice over? Can you DJ?" I get anxious about that. Or
Really?
when I bring my gear to a wedding, I'm like, am I doing enough to disinfect all these surfaces? You
Yeah.
know, the wedding I had last weekend, it was great because it was in Costa Mesa, yeah, but everyone, 35 people, social distancing, everyone was wearing the mask. But I went to a wedding about a week and a half ago, and they were legitimately like, no, masks are liberal propaganda. We're not going to wear it. And you're like, well, that's great, but I am self employed and I have no insurance. So a piece of
Yeah.
fabric is pretty much all I got. That's let's rock with that. So like
That
my
is my
anxiety is
one
different.
thing that, yeah, that's the one thing keeping me from going to the hospital. So, yeah. I mean, I get that. Like when we first reopened in June, I was getting so much like, like flashback of like, like not flashback, but like heat about like, you know, why do I have to wear one? Like this is this, and they got so political, and I'm like, it's not politics. Like I could really get fucked up over this. I have like ulcerative colitis, and like my premium's very high, so
Yeah. And
you
The
know,
Rock got it, so if he can get it, why not?
dude, for real. Oh my
Yeah.
god, The Rock got it. Oh hell no, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for
Like,
real. It was like Rock, Idris Elba, Tom Hanks.
I
Good question for
know.
you though. Like you are a barber. There was ever a job that you had that you like totally hated? Like, oh man, I can't see myself being blank.
I mean, there's a couple. I mean, I've had some really odd jobs throughout my life. Like when I was 13, I got a worker's permit and I worked over at Wild Rivers, which was this water amusement park. And I was the Wiley the otter, the mascot for Wild Rivers.
So you wore like the whole costume with
I
the hat?
wore the costume, and they would have you wear like a vest full of like frozen like bars, kind of like ice packs. So you had a
Yeah.
whole vest of that to keep your core cool, and you had to walk around in this mascot uniform during the summer. And like that's what I did for a part-time job, and
Do
that
people
job
know it
was
was you though? Like, were guys trying to holla? Like, hey, boo, that mascot's hot. Like, how does that? How
so
does?
there was a day and then a late day mascot change. So the guy who was in the beginning, he was the mascot for the morning shift, and then I was the mascot for the afternoon shift.
I hope
And a
different
bunch
costumes. Or
no,
no?
same costume.
Ew.
So, well, I mean like same, so there was like two like big mascot costumes, but you would have to wear the same like shirt
Got,
for that
got it.
day. So like pretty much like he let his friends in for free at the water park. So they thought I was him in the mascot suit. So when they saw the mascot me walking around and greeting people, they all decided to jump me and like start kicking and punching me because they thought it was their buddy. And I'm like, I'm a girl, I'm a girl. Oh my god, stop.
Wait. So even if you weren't a girl, that's not what you say what's up to your buddy.
I
Yo, what
mean,
up, homie?
fuck Mike.
I know. That's crazy. So I get
Fucking loser.
like you throw up the white flag, like leave me alone.
I'm a girl, stop, please.
Just want to give a shout out to everyone listening to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Appreciate you. If you're on a platform, make sure you like and follow. The reason I'm asking you about bad jobs is because I don't know if you guys saw what was happening in the news today. You know, Lionel Messi, one of the greatest soccer players of all time, wanted to leave his job playing for Barcelona, but he was forced to play because, frankly, he didn't want to break his. They didn't want to break his contract. So, like, I guess the question I have for you is: have you ever had a job you just wanted to quit? Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I signed myself up for this bullshit. But they said you got to stay, or you got like bills to pay, or what have you.
So, okay. What I'm
Tell
about
me,
to
girl.
drop. So, when I first started doing hair, I wasn't making enough money.
Okay.
And I was barely making, making rent or making bills and stuff like that. I had a lot of like financial responsibility under my shoulders or on my shoulders. And so I had to get a part-time job, but the only jobs were available were nighttime ones, and I ended up getting a job at an adult bookstore. So I
Who reads
worked
adult
there.
books?
I mean, it's not adult books. They had like booths. So like people would go watch movies and do that kind of stuff. So I did that for 6 months just so I could get by. And it was the worst experience, but the most interesting experience.
So tell me,
So
I'm curious. I never been inside an adult bookstore before.
So when you go in, there's the boutique part where you have your toys, you have like, the DVDs, and then, lubes or whatever. And then you would go to the counter and buy like a $5 like card to go watch a movie in the arcade area. And that's where all the shit would go down. Like that's where like guys would hook up with other guys, there would be cruising, there would be like some weird stuff like, a lot of touching themselves. And like, it was another way of me seeing people in a different light. And I knew at the time that I wanted to like, I'm like, fuck it. I might as well just do this because I know I'm going to do stand up one day and this would be great material. So
Did you really?
like, I did. I wrote a bunch of stuff down that would happen in order to like do stand up about it later. But then like when I started doing comedy, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do stuff about myself and then go from there forward. But man, that was an interesting 6 months. I mean, I did spend a 4th of July at that shop, and it was me and one other guy and like one dude who was in the arcade room. And like I was just like, hey man, do you want to go get fireworks? So I sent him to go get fireworks, and we lit off fireworks in the parking lot of a porn shop. I mean,
wow. How do you apply to that? You kind of
I
like,
mean,
man, I just needed money, or is it kind of like a thing where like, hey, I can see myself working in an adult bookstore. I'm totally within that.
I mean, honestly, like I was just seeing it as an extra income just to like get by for a little bit. So I wasn't even like looking at it into like, oh, this would be like sexy and seductive. It was more like, you know, I want to cut hair, but I don't want to like lose out on making a clientele and building my clientele by getting another part-time job during the day. So let me get a nighttime job. So I was going and doing a roller derby. I was in roller derby, and the girl who was the manager of the store I worked for was hiring.
What was your name, by the way? Because can I ask your roller derby name?
Well, my roller derby name was Semi, and then it was also Billy Club. So like there was two of them.
Okay.
But my best friend, she had an amazing name called Stitches, and that was like the best. Like seriously, still hands on the best.
I wish
name
there was
I've heard.
video. I would pay to see you.
I
in a
did
roller
not
derby.
do roller derby. I was a part of it. I I am not roller skating inclined, dude. I hurt
Did you
myself.
walk around the track? What do you mean? I was a part of it. What does that even? What?
I know it sounds so confusing. So my friends all joined roller derby, and they're all like able to skate. They're all have athletic ability and can roller skate, not a problem. So
Yeah.
I tried to roller skate with them, and I fucked myself up by like falling straight on my like butt like a couple times, and like actually bruised my tailbone like a couple times.
Whoa.
So I'm not roller skating. I'm not really well at roller skating. So they decided I had a lot of heart. So they decided that they should make me a coach for the roller derby team.
That sounds so sad. You
It was
have
sad.
heart.
You know what? You're really good at cheering us on. Let's give you a clipboard and you keep score for like the team.
So you were another mascot, basically. You were just
Pretty
another
much.
mascot.
Hey,
I mean, badass, but dang.
I tried. I never played a game. I can't say I was a roller derby girl. I could say I was roller derby affiliated, you know?
I totally say that when I first meet you. I was like, oh, because at the time I think you were like 27. Like, oh, Amber Scalzo, she totally did roller derby. But you told me it was all a lie. It was all a
Oh, no,
farce.
no. I didn't tell you the whole truth then, I guess. I guess I never went into it.
Your
But,
Twitter handle is a roller87. Roller.
That was like roller, like rock and roller. I don't know.
Wow, Swerve. And
Swerve.
speaking of Swerve, I want to give a shout out to everyone watching from like the former AfterBuzz crew. Amber, I have to ask you: are you a wrestling fan? Have you ever been a wrestling fan? Do you watch the wrestling at all?
I am a wrestling fan. I have not been watching lately.
Fair
The
enough.
last pay-per-view I did watch was, I think, Double or Nothing by AEW, where
Okay, yeah.
dude, that last, like, the football match on the
The
football
Stadium
field,
Stampede. Yeah.
what
Yeah.
happened? Oh
Yeah, it
my
was a lot.
god.
Yeah.
It was a lot to process. I mean, Matt Hardy with the costume changes under the water, like, what? And
Yeah.
then, like, I mean, he went through his evolution of Matt Hardy's, and then like Chris Jericho was amazing. Like, I still, man has my heart.
Here's the
Like,
question: Is he better or worse with the gut now? Because he does have a little bit of a pudge. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he's got a dad bod going on for sure. I mean, okay, back in the day, Chris Jericho, amazing, but
come
with
on.
dad bod, more realistic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. More realistic. He's human. Haywood Wong says Amber is all elite. Shout out to Haywood Wong. What's wrong with a dad bod? I got a dad bod. It's cool. I had a dad
No,
bod when
dad
I was
bods are
19.
fine. I technically have a dad bod. You know?
No kids allowed. So let me ask you this, man, because I know you had a couple wrestling bits on the stage. I won't tell your
Yes.
bits for you because people have to pay for that, right? But like,
Yeah.
what about the wrestling was appealing to you? Because I can sit here and wax poetic about the storytelling and it being theater in the round. What was your hook?
It is totally storytelling. I love the characters. I love that they embody a certain type of person, and, like, you know, it's a bigger than life character. That's what I love about wrestling. Like, it is, you know, an amplified version of yourself or whatever ego version you have. But I do love the acrobatics. Like, I love when I see somebody flip off the, like, the turnstile and, like, flip off the ropes and stuff like that. The acrobatics are amazing, but the Attitude Era was still, like, my favorite. Like,
Do you have a favorite wrestler from that time period?
oh my god.
Because there's so
I
many.
mean,
I don't know.
I mean, honestly, like, Stone Cold Steve Austin is still my favorite.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
he's still my favorite, and, like, let me tell you, you know, like, that kind of stuff. But I think from that period, Lita was still my favorite. She was
Really?
rad.
You were a leader person. I was
liked
too.
Lita.
That's why I feel like we're kind of the minority there because like Trish gets a lot more love. I think.
She gets so much love, but I really liked Lita, and I liked the storylines that she participated in, and then also, like, her, like, ability to, like, really, like, like, fly across the freaking ring and, like, take people down was pretty tremendous. But also the Undertaker too. Like, I really liked the Undertaker, and then,
Yeah.
like, Kurt Angle. When Kurt Angle came out with that, like, tank full of, like, milk.
The milk
And-
truck. Yeah.
Oh my god, still my favorite. Still my favorite. And then Eddie Guerrero is still, like, still holds a place in my heart. And, like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you've watched any of those Dark Side of the Ring.
Here and there, mostly season 1, but I've kind of dabbled in season 2.
So season 2 is pretty heavy. Like,
I did Chris Benoit. I did the Brawl for All. I did that one.
dude, the Chris Benoit one. Oh my god! Like, I cried. I'm not gonna lie, I cried.
I don't usually cry with TV, but I got choked up, and it was weird because it was in 2 parts. Seeing how this ascent from Eddie Guerrero's death to the rest.
Exactly. And it was just, like, so heartbreaking because, like, you could tell, like, he had that special bond with, like, Eddie, and then ever since then it just kind of went downhill from there. Yeah. And it's like, wow, like, that one, and I'm not gonna the New Jack one. Oh my god.
Yes.
Wow. I've never been a part of, like, I never heard of New Jack because I've always stuck with, like, WWE or WOW, Women of Wrestling.
Both versions are dope. I was a fan as a kid, and as an adult, they're cool too.
Yeah, I mean, like, oh my god, Trish is wifey material. Yes, she is. I agree. What's Stacy Keibler too? People love Stacy Keibler. Like, my brother was in love with her, but, like, she was not really. She was. I know Trish is a badass. I'm not gonna lie. Wasn't she a part of the Dudley Boys too? I think she was for a second, or there was another.
She feuded with the Dudley Boys because she was in a group called TNA with Tess and Albert. So them and
Yeah.
Dudley Boys got to like a lot of a feud or whatever. But
Yeah.
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 The Dudleys just didn't care. They put Molly Holly through a table. They put Mae Young through a table. They put
Yes.
everybody through tables.
Dude, I remember the Mae Young one when they put her through a table. Oh my god.
I mean, it was badass, but I can imagine the production meeting and Mae Young's like, "Okay, I'll do it."
All right, fuck it. I'll just double up on my painkillers that day.
I'm like, geez, man. The Attitude Era, I know a lot of times, especially with us, being in our 30s,
Yeah.
we get kind of like, all right, oh man, no one cares about 20 years ago wrestling, but like, it was so different back then because they were going for broke. Both WCW and WWE were kind of like, look, man, we need all the eyeballs we can get. 6 million viewers a night. We're at stake. We're gonna give you gravy bowl matches. We're gonna give the NWO beating up Rey Mysterio, and it was
Yeah,
good
I mean,
times.
dude, even The Rock was freaking amazing. Like I loved watching The Rock like just trash talk people. Like that was the best. Like just freaking just seeing him like trash talk someone to filth. It was the best thing.
Yeah.
It's like watching a drag queen, drag queens do the reading on RuPaul's Drag Race. But I don't know, dude. It was such a rad thing. I remember when Motorhead was playing for Triple H.
He
Like
got
I
3
fucking
songs from them.
yeah, I freaking love Motorhead. So like to see like Motorhead a part of like wrestling was really cool because like that's my childhood. Like me, my brother were like obsessed with wrestling when we were
Wait,
like
Motorhead was a childhood too?
yeah. Well,
Did you
actually,
and Lemmy hanging out?
well, you know what? Two funny things. So my mom actually partied with Lemmy from Motorhead over at the Rainbow Bar and Grill. So she's got a
What?
Lemmy story. She's rad. She's way cooler than me. Way more.
Your
badass
mom
than
is pretty badass.
She's
Tell me
badass.
tell me what's your birthday roast. I felt so bad cracking your mom, but she's so nice. She's so
She's
nice.
so nice. She's so sweet. But she's like way cooler than me. Like she could out party me any day of the week. And it doesn't take much, like 2 beers for me and I'm done. So like, I'm such a lame. But my mom, she was at the Rainbow and she ended up sitting next to Lemmy and they're drinking and having a great time and like chit-chatting and whatever. And she's like, I heard that you couldn't like play the other night at the show because you had the shits. And Lemmy gets so upset. He slams his beer down. He's like, I did not have the shits. I had the flu. And then walked away.
I mean, you could have the shits from the flu though. I've been there.
A part of the flu.
Right.
And so like the very next night they went to the Rainbow again, my mom and her friend, and they see Lemmy and he completely forgot that they pissed him off and he ended up buying him drinks all night. So like my mom's cool. My mom's freaking rad. And then as kids, my family, because they're all like metalheads and stuff like that, my parents decided that we should have a family trip to go see Iron Maiden, Motorhead, and Dio over in Irvine. So we all went as a family.
That was one show or was it like a
One
festival?
show.
Okay.
It was one show.
Yeah.
So it was Motorhead, then Dio, and then Iron Maiden headlining. So that's who we saw. Yeah. And it was a rad show. It was super cool. And I've seen Motorhead like at least 4 times, I think, 4 or 5 times. And I took my brother with me to go see him, just us together. It was pretty rad.
That's pretty cool, yeah. Again, I'm not real versed in metal, but like there's a Motorhead song I really enjoy from Guitar Hero called Ace of Spades. It's pretty rad.
That one's good.
Yeah.
You should listen to
Rock
Cradle.
Out. With the cock out.
Cradle to the Grave is one of my favorite Motorhead songs, and I'll Be Your Sister. That's a good one too. But my all-time favorite Motorhead song has to be what is it? No Class. No Class is still one of my favorite Motorhead songs.
Add that to my list.
You got to. I will.
After my tarot reading, I'm listening to No Class by Motorhead.
I'll send you a playlist on Spotify. You'll love it. And so like my family with wrestling, like that was our thing. We would always go sit or go see like the pay-per-view at my cousin's house, or we would also wrestle in the backyard. So my cousins had like a half pipe and we would just like jump off of it and try to do like all the crazy stuff like they would do on TV and stuff like that. But like, man, I remember our neighbor who lived down the street put me in a Walls of Jericho, and I'm like, I'm done, no more. I don't
Wait, so what kind of life is this where like your mom parties with like metal legends and your cousins have half pipes? Like what?
It's a crazy. I've had a crazy life, but it's fun. You know, like,
Is there
I've
any
lived.
wrestler now that's holding it down for you? Like you kind of like the modern stuff, like post
I
Attitude
kind
Era?
of like Dolph Ziggler. I'm not gonna lie. I just like his presence. I know
He has good hair. That does help.
I do love his hair. He's a pretty boy for sure. I mean, but Darby Allin, I'm really enjoying seeing him like grow. Like
Yeah.
he is one of the new up and coming guys that I really like, and Chick Atlas too. I really
Okay.
like. I'm like
SoCal
I said,
legend.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude. I got to see him over at because Jonathan Bowles invited me to one of
Johnny
those
Balls.
bar wrestling.
He should be on the show one of these weeks. I'll probably get him now for one of these
You
shows.
got I love him. Like
Yeah.
yes,
He's a
but
grand
he
connector. Yeah.
yes, super connecting person. But whatchamacallit, he invited us to go see one of those suburban X fights, and we went, and it was so much fun. It was like a revolving mosh pit. Like
Yeah.
that's how I can describe it.
That sounds
Like,
awful. I've been in one mosh pit, just one. And I was a cameraman, so I had to protect the camera while getting punched in the face. And so I've
oh,
always had soured ideas about mosh pits.
what show was this?
This was in Beaufort, South Carolina, where I was getting footage for a music video for a band called Salt Harbor for my production class. But
Okay,
to get in, I had to like sweet talk this band called Number One Contender. And so imagine you in like Beaufort, South Carolina, at this metal show of what I am the only Negro protecting my school, my college's camera while everyone's like. Thing is, I heard about mosh pits. I thought people kind of like party,
oh
but no, they're like blows being thrown at these, and no one
yeah.
tells me a thing. Kicks and punches and suplexes. Oh my lord!
Someone should have prepped you because if it was like a hardcore band, like new hardcore, it's like karate chopping and like windmills and like kicks and high kicks and stuff like
It
that.
was out of The Simpsons. One person's doing this, one person's
Yeah.
doing the. Oh my goodness! It was kind of like, all right, guys, I got class on Monday. You know, like taking the blows for the camera. You know?
Oh my god! You're like, please don't hit the camera. Oh my god!
It's a rental. You know.
I don't have the money for the insurance.
I had no idea, but yeah, Beaufort, South Carolina will always be my heart for that one time. Or
Oh my
outside of
god!
Charleston, yeah.
I mean, I grew up in the punk scene. Like, you know, like me and my friends would go to punk shows all the time. So we would be in that scene. I was going into mosh pits all the time, or like being. Sometimes you're in the room and you don't want to be in the mosh pit, but then one starts right in front of you, and you're kind of you're in the situation. But someone should have prepped you for that.
You
Someone
can't opt
should.
out of a mosh pit. You're just like in
You
it. You're just
can't.
like,
Sometimes it happens and you can't do anything about it. You just have to hope for the best and hope you don't fall down. Like, so,
this is
and
terrible.
and and this was my idea of fun. Like, this was my idea of like having a great time. So I mean, take it for what you want. Psychoanalyze if you need to, but like,
I thought mosh pits were like everyone was pumping the air and people are getting crowd surfed, but no, it is
oh no,
physical assault at a music show, and they
it's
allow it.
taking your day out on other people, and then sometimes maybe having a beer with that person later, and then going to a party. Like, but
What?
I don't know. I remember. Okay, so I have a funny. Oh my god! So it was like 14 or 15. I was
Yeah.
over at the Showcase Theater in Riverside, which had all. It was the only like other all ages venue that had real punk shows, because there was one called Chain in Anaheim, but Chain had mostly like hardcore bands, which wasn't really my scene. That's a different like subgenre.
I've been there
Um,
once. It's an all ages club, right?
it's an all ages club, but Showcase was the one where you would see all the actual like band like the bands that I wanted to see. So like I remember I was at the show. I don't remember who was playing, but I remember there was this guy I had a huge crush on in high school, and he was there. And I was
Okay.
like, okay, this is when I'm gonna make my move. So I ended up so I'm gonna go and talk to him, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? Trying to be all cool and like trying to be so like nonchalant or whatever. And
Yeah.
someone from the mosh pit hit me in the chest, like power punched me in the chest, because they were just going in a direction and I happened to be in that direction.
Yeah.
Knocked the wind out of me, and I was like, and I couldn't breathe for like 2 minutes. I was like,
And he was like, "That's hot. Want to go on a date?" Is that what
no, he didn't even notice and walked away. And I'm like, oh, of course that would happen to me.
Wow, you got punched in the chest and didn't even get the date? That's cold,
No,
fam.
nothing. I know it was. I mean, it probably well deserved. I don't know.
No, well deserved. It's fine.
I mean, this is probably why. This is probably why I shouldn't ask anybody out on a date.
Well, yes, when you get punched in the chest, I mean, that would be the fear of God, wouldn't it?
I know, right? There was another time I went to go see Narcoleptic Youth, and they were like they always had crazy shows, and it was way past capacity at the place. And I remember somebody pushed us behind us, like somebody pushed to like start a mosh pit, and I
Yeah.
went under. And like I remember people just, it was so crowded, they just saw like an opening, so people were rushing, and I was getting trampled on. And thank God, like some big burly guys like picked me up. But like it was like a good 2 minutes of like, I'm gonna get crushed to death, and this is what it's gonna be like.
So how do you party now? 'Cause I assume you don't go to mosh pits anymore. So like, what do you
Dude,
do for fun?
I'm such an old lady. I watch 90 Day Fiance and then like talk about it. Like
Hey, I
that's all I
watched one
do.
season of that. It's pretty rad.
Dude.
No, it was 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After
I love that season. That's the
Yeah.
season I'm on right now, and I
with
love
Jeff
it.
D and his family and his
Oh my god, it's so good. So I'm watching the newest one, which is
Okay.
season 5, and
Okay.
it's like Colt, Larissa, Jess, and like other people. But that's what I do. I read, I meditate, and then I work out. Like that's what I do for fun at the moment. So
Okay.
I
So,
mean,
like, I'm new to the whole dating show thing. So like last December, there was a show on Netflix called Love Is Blind, which like
yes.
totally changed the game. And I was on the after show for that at AfterBuzz back when there was this AfterBuzz TV network. Really, my first ever dating show that I actually sat and watched.
Okay.
And I have nothing but the most contempt for people. Like
Oh,
that show is totally corrupted what I think dating should be. Like I'm always like, wait, we're just all shallow, bro. Like my mind was blowing the entire
Everybody is.
time.
It totally is. I haven't watched Love Is Blind, but 90 Day Fiance is still my favorite because it's just like one of those shows where like you see the cultural differences, and then you see people like struggling with language barriers and everything. And it's the drama that arises with certain situations where people shouldn't be in a relationship because they either aren't compatible, or there really isn't anything other than just sex that is keeping them together. And
I mean,
it's just
sex
like,
does help. I mean, it's not bad.
sex should be a bonus,
Yeah.
not really the main thing of why you stay with someone, but
What is
that's
the
just-
main thing, Amber, in your opinion? If
I
sex is
think
not
it's-
it,
I think
not
it's
saying I
honest-
think it is, but
No, totally. I think for me, like in a relationship, it has to be something like communication, trust, and honor. Like you have to feel like you're connected with this person on you have to be on the same page, because, you want to feel like you're on a united front, not really like fighting against each other and that kind of thing. But that's just
Yeah.
me kind of like, kind of going through my past relationship at the moment. But,
No, but I mean, like, I'm asking from an ideal situation. 'Cause look, man, I hear all men are trash, right? But like, from an ideal situation, if you had a chance to see the kind of guy you want, or I assume it's a guy, what kind of person, like, attributes you're looking for?
I mean, honestly, like years ago, it was probably really shallow. Like cute is just good enough for me. But, nowadays it's like, since this last relationship, I really do think trust is the biggest thing for me. Like I have
True.
to trust this person in order to let them into my life, because if I'm going to have those deep feelings and emotions, and I'm going to feel connected, I don't want to be let down either. So, just having like that trust and feeling connected to this person on more of a non-sexual level, like I have to, and also too, they have to make me laugh. Like I want to
Right.
have fun, and I want to enjoy their time and energy, so I think that's for me is mostly it, trust and like respect and honor and like healthy boundaries. Oh my god, that's another one I just learned. So
I've leveled up, guys.
I'm trying
healthy,
to.
Healthy boundaries is always
I'm
up.
trying to.
No, I totally get that. I think it's funny how like it's almost like apartment hunting.
Yeah.
When I first moved to California, and this is a crazy story. So I got into grad school, out here in Orange County. I went to Chapman. They thought I was an undergrad, and about a month before school started, they said, "Oh crap, you're a graduate student. We don't have housing for you. Good luck." And
Yeah.
so I scrambled to find a place to live. And at the time, I didn't care. My first apartment was in Tustin, California. That was California for me. It was a town called Tustin. And
I grew up in Tustin.
what? There's
Yeah.
actually Negroes there.
Yeah, no,
I mean,
there is.
like the shower did nothing but hot water. There was a crack in the toilet. I had a folding chair as furniture, but I
Yeah.
didn't care because I got an apartment when I couldn't get one. But
Yeah.
now I'm sitting in my apartment now. I'm going, man, I would love to have central air,
Yes.
washer room hookups, tandem parking. Like, it's funny how over time we know exactly what we want in our apartments. And the people that we want to live with, we get more involved in what we want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, like, that's kind of like for me, like with the relationship, like I need somebody that trusts me, that I trust them, I respect them, they respect me and my boundaries. And then also too, like communication, like is a main key in the relationship too. I feel like a lot of times things get lost in translation, or you can communicate all you want, but the person who is, receiving that information doesn't really understand what you're trying to say either. So I think communication is definitely a thing, but it's like an apartment, exactly what perfect analogy for it. It's like, yeah, I just wanted a place to have like a roof over my head and a toilet to go to the bathroom,
Right.
but now it's like, okay, maybe I want like a parking garage, and like maybe I want a pool, maybe
Yeah.
a fireplace would be nice to get all nice and warm and cozy, that kind of thing.
Just be straight up with you is what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, it's like honesty and, just being able to communicate and understand each other. That's because, like, you can, like, talk till you're blue in the face, but if they're not understanding, it's like, what's the point? You're having a dead end conversation, and now this dead end conversation is going nowhere, and you're at this point. But anyway.
Question: if you're with
Yes.
somebody and you realize that he has an OnlyFans, is the relationship over?
Okay. I don't know.
Okay, I gotta.
Okay, I've thought about this. Like,
Okay.
why would you need an OnlyFans? Do you need that much attention? Like,
I mean, they do pay. I mean, them OnlyFans be getting that. Bella Thorne got a $500,000 her first day she launched. So
I mean, I get it for women, and I think it's very empowering for sex workers or anybody who's doing cam work and everything like that. I think it's very
sex work is honest
powerful.
work.
Yes, exactly. You do you. But for a guy, like, I don't know why. Like, I'm like,
Wait, hold on. Sex work works for both genders, or at least those two genders.
No, I completely agree. I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I just want to know the reasoning behind if a guy wants to do it. Like, I'm
Right.
more curious and wanting to know more of why they're prompted to do this kind
That
of
is
line of work.
completely sexist, Amber. And I was like,
Is
I
it?
want to know why a woman would ever do OnlyFans. I mean,
Okay, when you put it in that way, yeah, I can see why you say that. But like I'm curious, like okay, like all right, more power to you. But like I'm just like, what made you want to pursue that? Like, is it because you want to feed your ego, or do you want to like really make a living at what you're doing, or do you have a great product to sell?
it's a pandemic, man. I gotta get paid any way I can. I got a Patreon. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I got bills to pay. Okay.
I got bills to pay, and if people want to see and double click it, then why not?
One of the guys from 90 Day actually has a OnlyFans account, and he's like the guy, Colty.
Okay.
Okay. You got to look him up. Like he did like the American Pie where you have like the whipped cream on your boobies and on your junk. He did that for his OnlyFans, and I'm like, oh my god.
I bet it was the most popular post he ever done.
I think so. It's just cringeworthy, but it's pretty interesting. But you know what? You're right. Now that I've talked to you about it, now I'm like, okay.
I am not
I
convincing your future boyfriends to have OnlyFans. I'm just saying.
I mean, honestly, if they do have an OnlyFans, I mean, I really would want to get to know the reason why they would want one.
Yeah.
I mean, other than making money, like what are the psychological reasons? But if it's working for them, hell yeah, keep doing it.
So, question from our fans we got here. Haywood Wong asked, wait, how many tattoos Amber has? You know what, Haywood Wong? You never asked how many tattoos I have, and I feel offended. No, go ahead. Do you want to answer that question or no? I'm not sure how you feel about that.
I mean, I have so many. I've lost count at this point.
I have a collection. Like, is it like
Collection.
a sleeve, or is it like there's many
I
different
have
ones?
like so many sleeves. I mean, I'm pretty much sleeved up. I mean,
I'm so jealous,
you know,
bro. I'm so jealous.
I need to get more. I feel like empty right through. Oh wait, there we go. Like right
Yeah.
through here. I'm like, I need to fill that area.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Like, I think the last time I counted, and I've gotten a few after it, was about 16.
16?
Yeah.
Dude, I got 4 thinking I'm a badass. I'm sorry. The hell with me. 16. Okay.
I mean, 4 is pretty badass, man. Like,
I don't know
you
anymore, Amber. I don't. I don't anymore.
Do you want to start an Only account?
On my OnlyFans, I'll definitely show you how many tattoos I have. But I just want to say thank you so much for coming on What's Up Flobo After Hours. I know we're just hanging out, talking about life on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch. Please come back on a future episode because I
would
like
love
the fact
to.
that you're just so easy to talk to. I can like totally answer questions about OnlyFans. Where can the world find you online if they want to like subscribe to your stuff, they want to follow you, all that good stuff?
So a couple of accounts. If you are on Spotify, I am at Amber Scalzo, AmberScalzo. I have some fun playlists on there that I'm working on weekly, daily, whatever, because that's what I did in the pandemic was making playlists. It's kind of like making a mixtape, but online now. So, and then you could find me on Instagram at Amber Scalzo. And then my barber page is Scalzo the Barber, ScalzoTheBarber. So,
Not a hairdresser, y'all. She's a barber.
barber. So you can find me there. And I'm trying to think what else. I don't have any comedy shows coming up, so I have nothing to promote.
Are
but
you still a comedian? Did you still consider yourself a comedian, or have you moved on?
I mean, I think once everything has lifted and we can kind of go back to open mics and stuff, I will probably dabble back into it. So
hell yeah, Amber Scalzo! Woo!
and also there might be a podcast in the works, so keep an eye out for that.
Well, I'll keep an eye at it when I get that invite to be on it.
Oh, you will be.
This is What's Up Flobo After Hours. Of course, I'm Flobo. Do me a favor. Follow me on social media at Flobo Boys on Twitter, at Flobito on Instagram, and of course, Flobito.com. 3 ways you can support the homie during this time. You can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Flobo Boys. You can buy a t-shirt at Flobito.threadless.com and join the boisterous crew. I'm posting, I guess, appropriate photos on my Patreon at patreon.com/Flobo Boys. We'll be back here next week. What's up, Flobo After Hours? Amber Scalzo, so glad you're part of the festivities today. Come on back soon.
I will. Thank you.
The baddest in the land. Someone who always can. Don't you know?